Good morning, everyone. I'll present a critical literature review about the state of pelvic floor muscle dynamometry. This study has been funded by AgeWell and CIHR. So as a beginning, women's pelvic floor muscle integrity is of high importance in maintaining urogynecological health. Pelvic floor muscle dynamometer is an instrument which is inserted into the vagina that measures pelvic floor muscle resting and contractile forces using strain gauge mounted on a speculum. In the past 20 years, research and development of pelvic floor muscle dynamometry have produced an important number of prototypes. So the aim of this study is to present the state of literature on pelvic floor muscle dynamometry and discuss the advantages and setbacks of the different available prototypes. We conducted a search up to December 2018 in 4 databases. The search was restricted to English language. Through Boolean logic, we used search terms related to dynamometer and pelvic floor muscle. We were able, as a result, to categorize the pelvic floor muscle dynamometers into 2 groups. The clinical pelvic floor muscle dynamometers, which are commercially available for clinical purposes, and the research pelvic floor muscle dynamometers, which are used exclusively for research purposes. We were able to find 4 prototypes in the clinical category, and the clinical major findings are as follows. Only 1 have conducted the reliability and validity study. Only 1 is adapted to different vaginal sizes. None can confirm if the contractions are done correctly and is not a push. None reported psychometric properties specific to the standing position. As for the research dynamometers, we were able to find 10. The major findings are as follows. 5 conducted unpublished psychometric assessment. 3 conducted studies to quantify the effect of intra-abdominal pressure on their measurement. And only 1 reported the use of strain gauge differential arrangement. None reported psychometric properties specific to the standing position. As a conclusion, this review summarizes the available pelvic floor muscle dynamometers. It provides a critical analysis of the advantages and limitations of each. Our results clearly demonstrate that this discipline is still in the nascent phase. Further research is needed on psychometric evaluation for both the research and the clinical dynamometers, on the optimal size for the clinical dynamometer, and on the position of use for both the research and clinical dynamometer.
Thank you very much. Questions, please? Could I ask you, how do you see then the way forward for these techniques? Do we need a standardization? Do we need to make specific demands on the development?
So we're actually working on building the smart, optimal pelvic floor muscle dynamometer. But for what is found now, I did write, I have a complete paper which is written now, and I'm developing it. And I say for the research ones, we need to standardize the way we are doing things. Different dynamometers are measuring in different directions, and they have different aperture range. So we're not measuring the same thing, and in some papers you see that the force range for the pelvic floor muscle is between 0, let's say, to 15 Newton. In other paper you see it's reaching to 30 or 40 Newtons. We are not measuring the same thing. We should standardize what's going on for the research dynamometers.
And how do you see the possibilities to develop a device that will fit different sizes? Because I think this is maybe a major issue.
Yeah. So for that, what we are suggesting in the model that we are working on now, that we don't have one thing that fits all. This is like some kind of a dream, but is not currently available. What we suggest is to add sleeves to the dynamometer. It will add the thickness, and it will accommodate for larger apertures or larger vaginal sizes.
Could I ask a question? Thank you for the presentation, and this is very important work. I have tried one of the research, or two of the research dynamometers, and I find it quite painful with the opening. Can you say something about that, with this pain in patients?
You tried, can you repeat, because I couldn't hear well.
Okay, I have tried the 2 research dynamometers, and I find it quite painful because the opening up.
Okay, so
Painful.
for the opening, if you are talking about the research dynamometers, there are 10 prototypes. I don't know which exactly you tried, but they have different opening, and it depends on each woman. If like a woman has urinary incontinence, but it doesn't have sexual dysfunctions or any kind of other urinary dysfunction, should not have pain according to what we have. And if the opening that you tried it gives you pain, it can be adjusted to smaller opening.
I'm sorry, but I don't have any problems in this area, and it's painful because of the opening.
But the opening is adjustable. If we go back to, let's say, the research ones, as this one, as Barubi et al. 2017, the opening is adjustable. It's not one opening.
I tried the Montreal one and also the one from Ann Arbor, and it's the same, I think. So I think we should be concerned about the pain because you use different openings. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.